update. In this one, we have major updates on Invest 95L here, and I will have to just let you guys know the Atlantic has woken up from its sleep, and we are in full swing here. The Atlantic is acting like it is. I think it's in the wrong season, you guys, because the Atlantic conditions are favorable. Like August, it is mind blowing what I'm going to be talking about in this video in June. Could we have, the question is, could we have a major hurricane hitting the Western Antilles? I said this over and over in my two tropical update videos in my season outlooks that this season was going to be absolutely mind blowing, and I'm very scared for any storm to develop because it has the full potential to really take in that ocean heat content, temperatures, and the favorable conditions. But we have two investors, 94L here, not doing too much. We've talked about it the last few days, and it's honestly going to be hitting the Yucatan, maybe try and spin up quickly, but then hits in the land, and then I don't know what's going to happen when it enters the Bay Campeche. But the biggest threat is Invest 95L. It is at 30 mile an hours with 1,011 millibars. Been dropping like crazy. Started out with like 1,016. Now it's at 1,011. This is just mind blowing what I'm going to be talking about. So let's just get into the satellite imagery. And today, compared to last few days here, the environment it just has been looking better and better. The National Rain Center said yesterday that the environment was really conducive, um, not common for the year here. But if we take a huge look here at the environment, look at that. Very well developed possibility depression, I would say. Not so much convection throughout the morning here, but it is having some shallow convection around the center of low pressure. And we do have banding features today that we did not have yesterday. And we have very good outflow in the storm. So this tells me I've seen this type of storm before. It is strengthening like into a hurricane. I'm not saying it's going to be a hurricane, you guys. I'm just saying from past storms like Hurricane Hannah, it's developing like Hannah. It's developing like past major storms. It's really not looking good. It's not like that blob of convection, very disorganized. It's having the banding features. Yes, it's not so much convection around, but it is providing enough convection for the vorticity to get stronger, the winds to get stronger, and it's doing a great job at it here, especially in the center. I'm very curious what's going to happen here in the next coming hours. Do we just see more precise convection? But let's take a look at the high res here, satellite imagery. And once again, this is really looking very organized here as of like 12 o'clock in the afternoon here. Why do I say that? Because of the banding features. The banding features have really took on sharp with the storm here. We got absolutely, where would the low pressure be? I would say low pressure would be in this area right here. Why do I say that? Because look, we got nice band feature right here circulating back here. We got some type of a spotty band trying to develop here. We got a few thunderstorms here. We got more thunderstorms up here. Great on the outflow. But what I'm seeing is a lot of thunderstorms trying to rotate on the southern side. And I'm seeing that on the northern side here. I'm seeing this banding feature trying to develop here. Pretty organized if you ask me. Um, right now, very actually organized. Good spin on it. Definitely has a low level center. Um, if we take a look at true color, this is a little bit farther out that we can see the whole environment. One thing is there is dry air, and I'm actually surprised what it has done. Not too much to this system. The system has been surviving the dry air, definitely getting impacted, I would say, with some of that dry air, but it is um not letting it bother it. One thing we notice here is the outflow boundaries here. Absolutely beautiful here on these thunderstorms in the northern. This is telling me the storm is breathing. Yes, it's getting restricted because it's drier on the northern side, but I'm seeing that here on all quadrants here of the storm of the outflow. So it tells me the storm is breathing very well here. Let me just finish drawing the outflow, then we'll see the. Look at that. I mean, just crazy. Then if we turn it to, let's turn it to pink here. We have this very nice spinning feature up here. There it is, that spinning feature. And then there's that outflow once again trying to develop. That's how the low pressure looks. One thing I notice here is that dry air to the northern. I've noticed that dry air is very noticeable. You can tell by these clouds moving in these directions. So there's dry air being pumped into the system too. That's gonna keep it from intensely intensifying as quick. But so far, this has done a pretty good job at intensifying here as of right now. But let's take a look at some other stuff because I'm already been 7 minutes with this, and um, not good. Quickly before I go to the models here, this is the water vapor here. Another sign this shows me, I mean, look at the banding features. Just very well developed system today. You can see it breathing very well, really trying to get intensified here. So we take a look at the National Hurricane Center. Once again, the chances like crazy rise. Probably should be a depression by later tonight if this trend continues. I'm very curious what they're going to talk about. I'm actually not going to read about this because depending, maybe they will have the update. If not, I'll read it towards the end of the video. Once again, for this type of system, we're only in June 27th. We're not even in July 1st. So we have still the whole peak to go, you guys. We haven't even started climbing the mountain yet for the tropical Atlantic. But now let's stop yapping and let's start talking about the models here because the models just stunning to me here. So, we take a look at the GFS here. Um, don't know why it's glitching like that. Oh, okay. So in the next 24 hours, definitely a tropical depression, 1,006 on the GFS. I could see that. I could see that with the way this is looking. But this continues to strengthen definitely by tomorrow. This should become a tropical storm according to the GFS and some other models. But 990 here, this is already a hurricane on Saturday. Could this enter strong tropical storm to category 1 hurricane? Question remarks. From last run, this was at a 994, so a bit stronger here. And this really takes in that waters and it just takes in that good environment. And it breathes so well. And I mean, we go from a 997 to a 990. That's 7 millibar drop in 6 hours. And then we go 987. That's already 9. And boom. I mean, we are easily talking about a very strong hurricane here at this point. A category 1 hurricane entering the Barbados. But as we continue, the storm continues to strengthen. We're at 980. That is a potential cat strong category 1 with 90 miles an hour or a 95 miles an hour, or maybe even 100 miles an hour. We're gonna have to see. But this just strengthens like crazy. 975 when it enters the Barbados, you guys. Just mind blowing what the GFS has to say here. 975. Eyeball will hit the Barbados in this run here. Last run, it was a little bit more west. This one, a little bit more that way. But look at the strength. The strength has been pretty consistent in the 970s with the GFS as it enters these areas. But once it makes it past, this continues to intensify. We're at a 968. So now we're definitely in that category too. Maybe 105 miles an hour. We're going to have to see how this continues because this will strengthen into staying about a category 2, I would say. A solid category 2, just south of Puerto Rico, maybe even south of the Haiti area, Dominican. But it does begin the weekend. So now I would say this is more of a strong category 1, maybe a weak category 2. But we continue keeping its strength, still losing some, but it's starting to enter some areas here. This is probably now a strong category 1 as it enters these areas. And then I think, clips the mountains there, so it definitely disrupts, but not enough. Still a strong tropical storm to a weaker hurricane. That goes through. Now it's a tropical storm all the way to this point. Tries and strengthens before the Yucatan, and then on that it enters the Gulf and doesn't do too much. All right, it really doesn't do too much once it enters Gulf, and I'm very curious. Stays as a tropical storm. We get a tropical storm up here, it's second wave behind that one. We're gonna have to watch that, but seems like probably the dry air in this run, but we're gonna have to see. That's way long out, and we just don't know yet here. But if we take a look at the Canadian model on the strength and the track here, let's tropical Atlantic. All right, boom. So once again, we get a strong tropical storm on for your Saturday, you guys. Definitely your Saturday, a strong tropical storm. But by Sunday morning, this should be entering some time on Sunday. Definitely by 8 on the Canadian stays a hurricane. So right now, these two models saying a hurricane way before the islands. And this continues to strengthen. We're at 988 here, 985 as it enters just in these islands. So it's probably a strong category 1 to a low end category 2. We continue, weakens a bit, maybe some land interaction, but then it keeps its strength and maybe strengthens a bit and then weakens once again just south of Jamaica. Still a very powerful hurricane. Strengthens again, hits the Yucatan, and that's it. This storm is just dead because it hits the islands, maybe trying to come out of the Bacon Peachy. So we definitely have some uncertainty on the tracks here as we get further out, but this would be a long track hurricane. This will really raise the ace if this happens. Another tropical storm, maybe even into a very strong tropical storm in the same areas, you guys. Once again, so maybe we're gonna have to watch for a secondary system, maybe the C name storm right after this. That one hits Jamaica and it hits the Yucatan. So one thing I noticed, these are very long track storms, really gonna raise the ace and make many landfalls on these islands, these poor islands here. But if you thought that was bad, get ready. So now we're taking a look at hurricane models, and in the next 24 hours, this is a tropical storm, but this will rapidly strengthen on your Saturday into a very strong tropical storm. But according to Herb, doesn't become a hurricane until Sunday. But once again, before the island. So it's looking more and more likely. A hurricane is very likely You can tell by the rain bands, very well developed for July 1st here at 2 a.m. It starts approaching some of these islands probably on July 1st here around the 8 a.m. Big banding features, definitely into a strong Category 1, entering Category 2 strength. And this really bottoms out here as a 979, 976 entering these islands. Haven't even made landfall on the islands, but look how compact, very well developed this is. Definitely into Category 2 strength. And this just continues to strengthen as it enters these islands. And it does make landfall as a rapidly strengthening storm on one of these islands here. And this is by this point a strong Category 2 entering potentially Category 3. And this eventually does, according to the HUR, become the first major hurricane too as it enters outside of there. Take a look at the HEMN here, another value model. And this is on 12Z. We're going to, oh, wait. Why is it? Okay. Okay, we're good. So, okay. So this is another model here. The HEMN, once again, strengthens really rapidly. Becomes a hurricane before the islands here. 992 here. Bigger storm here. More of a wider out. A little bit, I mean, it's at a strong one now, maybe entering Category 2. Makes landfall. That's probably a weaker Category 2 than a strong Category 2, but brings same amount of impacts and stays in the realm of a Category 2, Category 1 here, according to the HEMN. We take a look at the halves A here, and this becomes a rapidly strengthening storm here. Once again, a hurricane before to the islands, and once again, a Category 1 strong one, maybe a 2, but as we continue, it stays at Category 2, Category 1 here, according to that model. I kind of thought it was more of a major hurricane here, but I guess not. Maybe it's this run, or maybe it was the ZRZ run that I was looking at this morning. I don't know. But I feel like it's this one, yeah. Because it's, yeah, so very strong already, Category 1 before entering these islands. This becomes a 978 as it enters just south of the Barbados here. And boom, this becomes a 970 compact but very strong system entering these islands. And this then becomes a major hurricane here. So mind blowing that we have two major hurricanes, actually three if you want to add GFS on the border. But looking at least right now of a Category 1 hurricane at minimum here. Definitely, I would say a tropical storm. This is definitely going to be the B name storm. If it does not, I mean, this would be a major fail on the models. But I don't think it'll be that bad here. The European model here, on its latest here, not as strong as it was yesterday. Definitely that Cat 5 is gone. I mean, that was ridiculous if that was going to happen. But this is 6Z here, has a pretty strong tropical storm already out this far. Definitely. So, either way, the Era has a strong storm. At this time, compared to the 6Z, much stronger as 1002, but still becomes a pretty strong tropical storm, long lasting, becomes a hurricane eventually, and hits the Yucatan, and then comes out maybe in the Gulf. So, once again, wait and see. All right, doesn't really show that second system as much as the GFS and Canadian, but we're going to have to see on that. But now let's take a quick look at the ensembles before I end this video, because I'm already in 20 minutes here. It's just so much to talk about with the system. And you guys, if you guys want me to do lives, I will have to get to 50 subscribers. So if you guys do want to see lives, where I can go live for a few hours. I would love to, but I need to support you guys if I'm going to do that. So please subscribe and like. But as this is loading, boom. There is an outside chance that Invest 94L becomes a tropical storm. I've noticed on the Sambles, maybe comes out of the Bacon Peach. It does have very good convection on it, just in a lot of wind shear, and it's just hard to believe. There's a secondary wave that demolished show, but look at the Sambles here. They're all in the Caribbean as a hurricane, strong tropical storm, even major hurricane here with the European ensembles. But once again, as we get this far out, the uncertainty really gets there. So as of right now, a tropical storm is heading for the islands. I'm gonna have way more in-depth details in coming videos, but for you guys want me to do a live and go just in depth for hours and hours, I will need the support. But um let's check the National Hurricane Center. I do not think it's out. No, but probably they're gonna up it to 80, maybe 60% on the next 48 hours. Definitely how it's looking. But pretty much the same thing. And develop is anticipated travel storm as the Windward Islands, moving at like 15 to 20 miles an hour. So that's pretty crazy. The percent for this one has gone up. Widespread, actively as it moves, some developments possible. It has a 30%. It has went up from a 20 to 30. Kind of surprised here. Wasn't expecting that really. But I mean, yes, it has a lot of convection with 94L, but it's just not. It just doesn't have a circulation, and the shear values are just too high, and it's been looking very disorganized. So I'm not bothering with the Invest 94L until I see more proof and just more proof that Invest 94L is could become a tropical storm, because I've made a video on Invest 92L and 93L. They looked at so good, but the National Hurricane Center just didn't pull the trigger. Um, this is not. This is a little bit concerning. These thunderstorms have continued to rotate around the storm, so telling you, big storms ahead with this one. But that's gonna wrap it up. See you guys later tonight. Have a great day.